This VP over here added over 10K in revenue in only 6 days of using our YouTube strategy. So basically what happened was Quentin runs an AI consulting business, and he was only trying to get more school community members into his private community, only charging about $50 per member. Meanwhile, with all these AI gurus building this massive hype around AI and basically stealing the entire market's attention. Funnily enough, Quentin also tried to copy his competitors like most people would do by making these generic AI tutorials or updates about nano banana AI. Or what happened was he just basically attracted more freelancers instead of high-level SaaS founders into investing into his products. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the YouTube strategies that we implemented for Quentin to amplify his inherent authority to attract more of these SaaS founders and basically leverage the fact that he was a VP from a very well-respected company and built authority for him in his own market. So first, let me just get you guys into the core problem that Quentin have that you guys might have. Basically, Quentin, for context, he doesn't know his own value. He's been in rooms with million-dollar decision makers, but on YouTube, he's basically invisible to these high-tech founders. He's been making generic AI content that pretty much these people on top don't even give a shit about. And he's just trying to appeal to a wider audience in hopes of more views, more subs. But what ended up happening is he just attracted a bunch of more freelancers from third world countries that wanted his advice on how to build more AI automations. He was just trying to compete on price among these people for like, based on what he told me, he had freelancers that negotiated with him like, hey, can you do a mentorship session with me for $12 an hour? When Quentin's over here, who's been in rooms making $1 million decisions with other VPs, other CEOs before. So it just doesn't make sense for him to be making this type of content in the first place, right? What this means is the content that Quentin was making had no defensible positioning at all, because the type of stuff that he was making actually damaged more of his authority than he even realized. Because when these CEOs and founders were searching Quentin's name, they would find some generic tutorials that Quentin was happening. Therefore, they would perceive Quentin as a lower value than he was supposed to be, basically. What this meant for Quentin was he placed himself in a commoditized market rather than presenting his own real value as a former VP. And so what that actually meant for his business was not only was he in a commoditized, saturated market, but he was also competing on price with way higher sales cycles and lower value in his own product, basically. His sales cycles, based on what he told me, he was averaging about like 3 to 4 months in sales cycles, which is not that bad in AI consulting. But after implementing the strategies that we formed for him, his sales cycles dropped back down to 2 to 3 weeks. But his circumstances were he was competing on price, he was burning cash on ads, he was trying all of these methods in order to make some form of revenue after retirement, but he was just not getting there at all. So these are the things that we did to help Quentin out to reposition him as an actual authority on YouTube. First thing was we repositioned his messaging so that it targets more SaaS founders, software companies, and AI SaaS startups. We wrote scripts for him that resonated more with VCs so that they're more interested in giving him more referrals, because now Quentin is presenting him as more higher value in the market, right? The second thing that we did was optimize his SEO. We just optimized his SEO so that it targets more of the founders that would search him up for this particular problem in AI SaaS, so that Quentin directly ranks on top of the search bar so that his face shows more frequently in front of these SaaS founders. Long-term keywords like MCP servers, AI SaaS integrations, workflows for enterprises, so on and so forth. These are the specific keyword terms that these high-level founders would search up at 9 p.m. when they eat dinner. Not those typical like, hey, how do I make AI agents like these freelancers would search up on a daily basis because they need money, right? So this is exactly what we did. We changed his messaging, first of all, so that we qualify these viewers. These freelancers will have no idea what the hell Quentin is talking about. Therefore, they won't be able to watch the video in the first place. And we also optimize his SEO so that it ranks him further among these SaaS founders, because so many of his competitors were building this massive hype around AI. And a lot of that stuff was disingenuous. We basically just got Quentin to go against the hype entirely. We just told Quentin like, hey, just talk about non-BS stuff on YouTube and just call out other people's BS so that it builds more trust at scale. Because We just need 200 viewers on his videos, and we just need about 50 of them to agree with Quentin's points to get him more contract deals. We not only change his messaging, but we also encourage Quentin to, hey, leverage everything that you know about SaaS, AI, startups, and just call out on his competitors like nonsense and just be real with the audience. And a lot of people have really resonated with what Quentin has said, therefore have built him a raving fan of audience, full of B2B founders and also genuine engagement from genuine fans. And that comes to the next point. We tried our best to maximize viewer satisfaction rates. And this is the stuff that actually ranks your videos on top of the search bar too, because YouTube prioritizes watch time over everything else. Now, if you maximize viewer satisfaction based on the qualified viewers that you have, also the fans who are genuinely learning from you, you will be able to maximize viewer satisfaction through watch time, click-through rates, so on and so forth. This will then signal YouTube that this is extremely high value content. Therefore, it pushes your videos even more towards your ICP. And this is exactly what we did. The more YouTube videos that we posted for Quentin, it creates this flywheel effect that fans will enjoy more of his stuff. It brings him more qualified viewers. It's just this constant cycle of Quentin maximizing viewer satisfaction so that he just builds more trust at scale. At the point of this video, you might be wondering, okay, Derek, so how does this actually make me money? How did this make Quentin money? Therefore, it could make me money. What this meant for Quentin is not only enterprise buyers were searching videos up at 9 p.m., but he also built a raving audience full of enterprise buyers and fans who were being educated by his content. Most of his prospects, based on what he told me, have watched at least 1 to 2 of his YouTube videos. Therefore, they were more nurtured down the pipeline, but they already know, like, and trust him at some point in line. So these enterprise buyers have already seen Quentin's systems, decision-making, and thinking overall for them to even book a call with Quentin in the first place. Therefore, they have come to Quentin's sales calls already pre-sold on his stuff. And he stopped getting compared with these other 3 AI gurus online because now people have realized that Quentin is on a higher caliber of AI SaaS. Because now SaaS founders have finally realized that, hey, Quentin is actually the guy that we need. We don't need these other AI gurus building this massive hype around how awesome their products are. They just fully understood that Quentin is the guy who can understand the level of their problems. Therefore, they need to book a call with Quentin. And as a result, in only 6 days, Quentin has landed 2 consulting deals, averaging around 4.5K to 5.5K per month, totaling 10K in revenue in only 6 days of using our YouTube strategy. But more importantly, the YouTube videos that we've provided for Quentin have become his authority asset at scale. Because even though that result in 6 days is impressive, what's more impressive is the compounding effect that Quentin has been receiving over the timeline. Because now every video that we produce for Quentin adds to his market positioning. Competitors can't even match his authority because even though, like, yes, he gets lower views, but the expertise that he's demonstrated on YouTube is at a higher caliber that solves sophisticated problems for sophisticated buyers that these AI gurus can't even dream of doing. And what's cool about this is, after months of working with us, he has received speaking invites in Germany and Dubai to do these massive presentations in Y Combinator and a bunch of these other tech events. So this is what happens when you use YouTube to build authority first and at scale, instead of just views and subs and likes. Authority creates massive trust if you position yourself correctly on YouTube. But that's how we helped Quentin add an extra 10K in revenue in only 6 days of working with us. Obviously, there are some nuances to this strategy, but you can definitely take some of these strategies and apply to your own company, especially if you're doing 7 to 8 figures per year and your product has been proven. But if you don't want to go through all this hassle in figuring out your own strategy and just wasting time and money with your own marketing team trying to make this work, you can click the link below and book a call with me and let's talk. That's all for today. Hope you found this video helpful. Like, subscribe. Peace out.